Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Timesavers For tab of the Timesavers add-in. So this tab is designed specifically for sellers who are selling on multiple marketplaces, not only on TPT. So it allows you to create your products more quickly for all the different marketplaces all at the same time. So you're going to start off over here on the left hand side with the edit button, and this will allow you to edit the marketplaces that will be applied when you are using the add-in. So what you need to do over here is you need to go and add in your store link for all the different marketplaces that you want to use. So you have 5 default ones that you can use if you want to, and then there are 6 custom ones that you can use as well. So with the custom ones you can then add in other marketplaces that I have not listed here, and you can also add in your own website and so on. Okay, so I'm going to go and add in my links. So here is my TPT link. Then I have got my Etsy link. So let's just move this over here. Etsy link. And then I've got my link for my own website, which I'll put over here. And then I'll make this label CCC. Okay, you can change these other labels if you would like to, but you don't need to. Okay, so once I've got those all added, I can then go and click on the edit button again because I'm now finished. And now you can see that I have got some more things that have appeared on my ribbon based on what I entered over there on the marketplaces that I put store links in for. So now I've got one for Etsy and one that has appeared for CCC as well. That's my store, Colleen's Cosmic Collection. Okay, so now I am going to go, and I will come back to this soon. I'm actually going to go and focus on this first over here. So in my file over here, what I'm actually creating is my terms of use. And so I want to be able to create a terms of use that has some things that are specific to TPT, but then for the rest of the marketplaces, I don't want to be telling them about following me on TPT and about the TPT credits that they would get if they leave feedback. So I'm making my terms of use tailored to those marketplaces by removing the TPT information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and select all of these shapes over here. These are the ones that I want to be visible for TPT specifically. So I'm going to go in this section over here. You can tag shapes or slides for specific marketplaces. So I'm going to tag these shapes for TPT, and that means that when I create my PDFs, these shapes will only appear on the TPT PDFs. They will not appear on other PDFs as well. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing with these ones, but these ones I'm going to tag for non-TPT. I could do for individual marketplaces as well if I wanted to, but in this case these apply to all of the non-TPT marketplaces. So if I click on here, it will automatically make it for all of them, for all of the non-TPT marketplaces. Now that I've done that, I'm actually going to cut this and paste it onto the slide. I don't need to have 2 different slides because when I create my PDF, when I create my PDFs for the different marketplaces, the add-in will automatically hide the things that do not apply to that marketplace. So this looks a mess at the moment, but when the PDFs are created, it won't look a mess anymore. Okay, so that is how you use this over here. Now, if you want to view what it'll look like for different marketplaces, you can use these buttons at the bottom. So if I want to view what it'll look like for the TPT PDF, I can click on there, and then this is what will be visible on the TPT PDF. If I want to see what it will look like on the non-TPT PDFs, then I can click on there. It would be the same if I clicked on the Etsy or the CCC one as well, because they are the same. You also have these buttons over here where you can remove tags that you have added. So if you select a shape and click on that button, it will remove the tag that was added. Also, you can check the tags. So over here, if I have that one selected and I click on the check button, it now tells me that it has been tagged for Etsy and for CCC, and that's because I tagged it for the non-TPT. So it automatically added tags for all of the non-TPT marketplaces. And then over here, this button just allows me to show everything regardless of what marketplace it is for. So that is how you use this section of the add-in. So now I'm going to come back to these ones over here. This is for the links. So over here, I'm going to be creating I'm going to be creating a product catalog that I'll be able to use in different products. This is using the feature that I have added to the presentation group over here, but it can also be used with the Time Savers 4 tab as well. So I've already added my product placeholders using this button over here, and if I check over there, that was from a previous time. I'm going to go and reset that so that there are no if I check it again now I just have my product placeholders. I don't have any products that are tagged anymore. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and add links that are marketplace specific to my product covers that would then, when the PDFs are created, any products covers that I have tagged as products will automatically be duplicated and placed in the positions of these product placeholders over here. And they will be given the links based on what I'm going to put in now. So I'm going to do this example over here. I'm not going to be doing all of these now because it will just take too long for this video. So I'm just going to do this example for now. But the same process would apply for all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over here so I can more easily work with it. Okay, so this is the one that I'm working on, and I'm now going to go and add my links. So here I'm going to add my link from TPT. So I'm going to go and click on the field for TPT while I have that selected and paste it in there. Then I'm going to go and grab my link from Etsy. I'm going to go and select over here. This is still selected, and I'm going to fill it into the Etsy field over there. And then the one from my website as well. Do the same thing. Okay, so now I can make that big again. So now I have added, if I go and click on this check button, this check button will allow me to check all of the links that have been added to whatever shape is selected. So if I click on there, you can see that I've got this link that's been added for TPT, this one has been added for Etsy, and this one has been added for my website. Okay, now I can also add default links. Now the default links will, if I have a shape selected, so say I have my logo selected and I click on the default links. At the moment, let me just show you, if I click check, there are no links over there. But if I go and click on the default and then I click check, now it has automatically added those links that I put in as my default links for my stores on those different marketplaces. So you don't need to go and type in or add the links manually every time. You can just click on the default link button and it will automatically add those links. I'm also going to add the default links to all of these other covers. I am a bit behind on adding all of my products to the different marketplaces, but in the meantime I can at least have links to my stores on those marketplaces. So I'm going to add those, but I'm not overwriting this one that I already did. Okay, then I'm also going to go and add my default link to that logo over there as well. So now my terms of use is ready to go. I'm going to be able to go and use this in products. So I'm going to save this. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you. You also have this UTM codes group over here. This is actually the same group as what is over here. It's just a duplicate of that. It's just over here so that it's easy to access while you're busy working with links over here. So for the UTM codes, you can add, when you're doing a product catalog like this, you can add your campaign values. And in this case, I'm just going to add one to this for now. And this would be link to Number Bonds worksheets bundle. Okay, then when I have added all of my campaign values, because obviously I'm not going to do it now for the video, it'll take too long, but generally I would add all of the campaign values or UTM info so that when I am putting my terms of use into a product, I can then go and add the source info based on that product. And then when both of those values are there, when I create my PDFs, so long as both values are there for a particular shape that has a link, then the link will be altered to include the UTM code. Okay, so now what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to save this, and I'm going to copy these and paste them directly into a product over there. Okay, so this is a product that I am working on over here that I am basically done with, and now I want to be able to get ready to publish it. So I have got my product ready. I'm now just sorting out my terms of use. Now this page over here is already sorted out. Everything has been tagged the way it's supposed to be, and everything has been linked, that the logo has been linked. And over here, at the moment, I've only added links to this one specifically. The others are all just the default links, but in general, I normally would have added those links as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add my UTM codes based on the product that I'm working with at the moment, the source, UTM source. So I can add it to all of them at the same time for this product. So I'm going to say that this is fractions, halves to 12ths. Matching them in terms of use. Okay, so now I have got, for this one over here, I've got, if I check, I've got a source and I've got a campaign. So when I create my PDF, that particular cover will be given a UTM code with the source and the campaign. Okay, now I need to go and select which products I want to advertise to anybody who has purchased this particular product. So I would go and choose whichever products I'm wanting to advertise. I'm going to make sure that I choose the one that I added those to, so you can see what happens with it. And then I'm going to tag those over here as products. And now if I go and check, you can see that those have been tagged 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll be placed in the positions of 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. Okay, so I'm going to deselect that, and now I'm just going to quickly go and update my contents page, and now I'm ready to export. But before I do that, I just want to show you quickly, in this flatten presentation group, I've got an option to flatten PDF that I can select. Now this option is only available if you have got the license for the full version of the flatten presentation group, or for the full add-in as well. And what this does is, when you have this selected, if you export your presentation using this export PDF button or using this export PDFs button over here, then the presentation will automatically be flattened before it is exported. So I have got that selected so that when I export my PDF now, it will automatically be flattened first. Okay, so now I also want to show you, if you have got content that is specific to a particular marketplace. So like in this case, say for instance this was an easel activity on TPT, which would then obviously not be available in other marketplaces. I would want this to be hidden. I don't want other people from other marketplaces to think that they're going to get something digital and then they don't. So I would make this hidden, so it would only be tagged for TPT. Then over here I have got two options for my heading. So I'm going to tag this one as non-TPT, and I'm going to tag this one as TPT. I'm going to put this one back here again, like that. Okay, so now I've got those tagged. Now over here I have got a couple of options for if you are wanting to save your cover as an image that you could potentially use on Pinterest. It's not the perfect ratio it's not the perfect dimensions for Pinterest. However, at least it's better than square. So in this case, I'm going to choose to pin my cover, which just means that I'm going to have the cover page saved as images to use on Pinterest. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing this yet. I will show that to you next. Okay, now just before we go and export the PDFs, there is one more thing that I need to show you, and that is this Etsy group over here. So the reason I've created this group, which only shows up if you actually have Etsy as one of your marketplaces, but the reason that I've created this group is because of Etsy's file size limit. So Etsy has got a limit that you can't have files greater than 20 megs each, and you can have up to 5 files that you upload. So now obviously quite often our files are too large, they're more than 20 megs. So what I've done over here is I've made it that you can go and divide your presentation into sections in 2 different ways. You can either divide it into sections that are named info, color, black and white, and answers, or you can change it to sections 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to be using the info, color, black and white, and answers in this example, but you can use whichever option is better for you in the situation that you are in. So what it's going to do is when it creates the PDFs, it will look at the Etsy PDF and determine if it is too large, if it is bigger than 20 megs. And if it is, it will then export the presentation again for Etsy in small chunks based on the way that you have tagged your slides. So that I can do that, I need to go and tag my slides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to View and Slide Sorter, just so that I can see them a little bit more easily. And I'm going to go and select all of these ones over here, except for my contents page. I don't want my contents page to show up in my info because it would just be weird to have buttons, so what looks like buttons, on the contents page, which they then can't click because they're pointing to things in other files. So I am going to go and tag those as info. Then these ones over here, I'm going to tag as color. These ones over here, I'm going to tag as black and white. This one is also color, and this one is also black and white. So now, if you want to check what you have tagged any of the slides as, you can just select it, and you can click on the check button, and then you can see over here it says that the selected slide has been tagged for black and white for Etsy. And I can check any of them. If I check this one, you'll see that it says that it has not been tagged for Etsy, and that's because I left it out when I was doing it. And if I change the tag type, and I select one that was tagged, and I check it, you'll see that it says it hasn't been tagged, because it is then looking at these tags over here, and it hasn't been given any of those tags. So if I have it on that one, then when I check it, you'll see that it has been tagged for info still, so it doesn't lose that setting. Right, so if you do want to go and remove any tags, you just select the slides and click on the remove button, and it will then remove the Etsy tags from those slides as well. Okay, so now I've done Etsy tags, and I've already chosen that I want to pin the cover. So now I'm going to go ahead and export my PDFs. Okay, so now it's asking me what resolution I want to export it at. So I'm just going to keep it at the default. This is because I'm going to have my presentation flattened before it is exported. So I click on OK, and now this is going to take a while, so I'm just going to pause it and come back when it's done. Okay, so now it's asking me what I want to name my PDF files. Now this name over here that has appeared by default comes from the name of the presentation itself, and I'm going to just keep it as it is. Now this name over here is just going to be a base name, and the label for each marketplace will be added to the end of this name to differentiate between the different PDFs. I'm just going to keep that as it is, and then I'm going to pause and come back when it's done. Okay, so now it's telling me that the exporting is complete, and it's asking if I want to save the flattened version of my presentation as fraction halves to 12ths matching game flattened, just so that it doesn't overwrite the unflattened version of my presentation, which was saved automatically just before the presentation was flattened. So I don't want to overwrite that by accident, so I'm going to click on yes, and it will then save as and have flattened in the name, so I know. Okay, so now it's finished saving. So as you can see here, we've got all the files that have been saved. We've got over here the pins that have been saved. It was able to detect that all of the shapes that were tagged for any of the marketplaces were either TPT or non-TPT, so it didn't create pins for all of the different marketplaces. And then over here we've got our Etsy PDF, and you can see that the Etsy PDF is quite large. It's greater than the 20 megs that were allowed, and so that is why these ones were created over here, split up based on the tags that we had added to our file. And then let's just go and take a look at some of these PDFs. So if I open this up, you'll see here that this was the one from our website, so it says print and go, and it doesn't have the computer in the middle or in the bottom. And then over here, these are the links that I had added for my website, and this is the one that I specifically added all the different links to. Okay, and then there's the rest of the file over there. So now let's go and have a look at one of the Etsy files. So this is the black and white file, and you can see that only the black and white slides have been put into this file, like that. And let's go and take a look at the info. And here you can see again it says print and go, and the computer isn't there. And here we've got the links that I added for Etsy. And here is the cover that I added the links for all the different marketplaces specifically. Okay, and then let's just go and have a look at the TPT one quickly to compare. So the TPT one, you can see says print and digital, and the computer is now there. And this has got the TPT terms of use. And then over here, these are all the links that I put in for TPT, specifically this one. And you can see also over here that the UTM code has been added, and that was the case for the other PDFs as well, that the UTM codes were added at the end of the URLs. Okay, then let's go and take a look at our pins that have been saved over here. So this is the one, the non-TPT one, and then this is the TPT one. So you can see the difference between those. Right, now I also want to go and show you what happens when you use that thumbnail option. So I'm going to use a preview file over here. And I am going to go to my Timesavers 4 tab. Now for this preview file, the only thing that I really am going to be worried about is that on the non-TPT marketplaces, I don't want, because on non-TPT marketplaces, you can't have PDF previews. So I don't want to have something where it says click here to check it out if they can't actually click it and go and check it out, because in an image the link will not be active. So I'm going to remove this over here from the other marketplaces, which means I'm just only going to have it for TPT. So I'm going to tag it as a TPT shape. Everything else is just going to stay the same. Okay, then over here I'm now going to change that from pin to thumbnails, and I am going to click on export. For my thumbnails, I don't really want them to be so big, otherwise I might struggle to upload them to some of the sites. So I wouldn't really make it more than 300 dpi, and even that might be a little bit too big for TPT, etc. Okay, so the name of this file is preview, so I'm just going to keep that as it is. And now it is asking me, because I have chosen to create thumbnails from this file, it's asking me if I want to save PDFs for all of the marketplaces, or if I only want to save a PDF for TPT, which I would then use as a preview. Because, as I said already, with the other marketplaces, you can't use PDF previews. So that is why I've put that in there, because if you're saving it as thumbnails, then I'm assuming you probably wouldn't want to save the PDF previews for the other marketplaces. But you still can choose to if you want to, but I'm going to choose not to, so I'm going to press yes. And now it's asking if I want to save this as preview flattened, so that I don't overwrite the unflattened version again. And I'm going to click yes. Okay, so now let's go and take a look at what has saved over here. So I have got over here my original preview file, and then I have got my preview PDF, which is the only one there is the TPT one, and you can see over here my link is active as it is supposed to be, and this is visible. Okay, that link was already there. I'd already added it to the presentation. And then over here, I have got my thumbnails. Now, again, it detected that there wasn't anything that was specific to one of the non-TPT marketplaces. So it just created a standard non-TPT set of thumbnails. So you can see over there, those are all the thumbnails. And you can see in this one that where it was saying click here, that is now gone. But if I go and look at my TPT one, then that is still there. Okay, and that is how you use the Timesavers 4 tab of the Timesavers add-in. I hope that has been helpful, and I hope that you will have a fantastic day. Thank you. Goodbye.